I do think it's almost comical that the best Breach player in Tier 2 plays Neon here. It's just so funny. But I don't think we can underestimate Lover's Rock. I do think he's really proved himself already. But on the other side, Creamy Dreamy bringing out a Deadlock.
I love a Deadlock. I've been advocating for Deadlock all year, and I think Creamy, as amazing as he's looked on that KO, I think that he's definitely going to be a key pillar as part of this composition, especially when we're talking about being able to set up that duelist. We look towards the gravity net and how quickly that comes back online again. You're thinking that a player is potentially going to die every 40 seconds across the map. So yeah, I think he just needs to be able to keep up with the pace that FAMSI is trying to dictate.
And Glance, for you, any predictions? Who do you think is going to win this series?
I will go for BBL Pacific just because I know how good they are, but also I think that Deadlock can be a really, really good stopping power for Dynasty. So I really hope for a close matchup, but I will still say for BBL Pacific.
I think that's what most people say, right? They seem to be the favorite coming into this, but I remember last year, fool me once, shame on me, honestly, but fool me twice. They were one map away from taking the entire final, and they didn't manage to do it.
Oh my god, it can always slip away. That's why it's super important to keep the focus on the best of 5 completely till the end, so they should fight. And I don't want to see BBL Pacific be overconfident as well, because on Lotus...
Oh, you're gonna see them.
Yeah, that's the problem. On Lotus, that's exactly what happened. They were pushing too much, but let's see now if they can close out it properly. It would be nice.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think as well, a highlighting factor of that last map was Lover's Rock using the sniper. I'm intrigued to see how he's going to interact with the Viper as well on the opposite side, and how much that's going to limit him from getting away with the sniper kills that he was getting on the previous map.
Well, it's 1-1, so it's time to jump into map 3 and throw this back to Mitchman and Tombiz.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. It's time to find out how map number 3 is going to go. We're guaranteed to go all the way to Corrode, but now it's time for Sunset, Tom. After a 13-4, we've already seen Dynasty bounce back within a map, but how are you feeling about Sunset?
I feel like we're getting more and more into the sort of middle grounds of this series. I think Sunset has been statistically a pretty good map for both of them as of recent. A close victory versus Twisted Minds for one side and a close victory versus Ulf for the other. So I definitely think that both teams have the potential, but very different ideas of sort of how to play the map. One looking at that sort of disarray and delay. The other, of course, is that sort of pacey hit. And while the early pace coming out from FAMSI on the other side, but he's met with Lover's Rock, a combo aggression, but it's come out fairly even, other than the HP.
Yeah, the HP definitely looking worse for wear when it comes to Dynasty. They've made it through the smoke. Waddle and Tag clinging on for dear life. Now in 25 and 40 HP respectively. BBL Pacific have got a lot of control in terms of the avenues they're blocking. Spawn, short, and behind, all covered, but they're in individual fights. The individuals are going to have to win them, and it's a shaky start, but Lover's Rock gets there, leaving the two that are already so heavily tagged up. It's the last man standing defuse underway. They're forced into a fight, and Waddle surely going to be caught going forward. So close! But the defuse comes through just moments before the shots do.
Yeah, that was the sort of smart decision coming out from BBL Pacific, just the confidence in LaRock to hit the shot. And more importantly, just almost playing that game of chicken. I think there was probably a part of Waddle that thought, okay, he's probably going to stick this to half and then they'll fight me together. And instead, literally just needed that first bullet to connect, but a little bit of a spin is enough for BBL Pacific to have themselves another pistol round. I believe that is now at least 3 in a row. They had a couple on the last map.
Camera taken out.
This investment from Dynasty, I'm a fan of it, and no doubt they are too, seeing how it worked out before. Even managing to pull these rotates by the looks of things, getting a bit of aggression out of Loida. Could get risky for BBL Pacific. Again, they don't know just what they're up against yet.
Everybody has ball, so they're clearly aware of, after last time, okay, we can't risk going with a couple of pistols. Instead, they're going to take those Spectres in. And with flares and light shields, that's where the gun's actually fairly effective.
I think it even got a 140 tag there onto, well, tag, and they end up finishing them off very quickly dealing with this. And I loved this from Loida. The fact that he finds this information in elbow. It looks for a moment like he's going to get aggressive A main. He falls back, plays passive from elbow, ends up spotting one, hearing the neon, and runs all the way back to LaRock saying, hey buddy, that outlaw is going to need to be used. And it was used very efficiently indeed. And they flood in right after and really clean this up.
Well, he's someone to mention in general. I think the comparison I made last time that we saw him play the map was to someone like Ruxic, because there will be rounds where he just goes for that TP into mid, get across and take those fights. And this is the problem when you're up against a team like BBL Pacific and you're on the attack, is a lot of the time you're not on the attack. You have to defend for the first few seconds of the round because they're going to be pushing and pressuring. And I am a little bit nervous now that that force buy hasn't worked, that you're going to be at a pretty hefty deficit. And I said, well, that Loiter might be making the push. I'll admit I was wrong. It was Lovers Rock instead.
It's a very risky play against what you now know is going to be a low buy, but look at the trigger discipline. Closes the distance a little bit, finds Ticey. Lets them know there's someone behind. They're even going to burn a stun for that. And as they clear it out, Lovers Rock has a chance to do more damage. Ends up going down to 27 HP, but the key thing here is they're not getting pinched. There's no player hanging about in main, so while that rotation back from Creamy comes in, he is going to end up swinging right into this outlaw. The shot again doesn't land. Lovers Rock needs to cool off now. So easy to take him down and make this a costly round. Instead, he leaves it to the rest of the squad, and it is a cleanup from BBL Pacific with a flawless round.
Yeah, their credits are now going to be going through the roof as they will head into what is, I guess, technically another bonus round, because they managed to win versus the force buy. It's put them into a fantastic position. But this is also the worry. Like a lot of the time, you see that Cypher, as you do on the other side, and the value of it is that you can lurk one side of the map and you can have the trips protecting your team. You don't really have that over on the Dynasty side. You need to have proactive players watching for those flanks, especially when you have a team that are going to disrespect you, as BBL Pacific will.
You almost look across the map in rounds like this and wonder where is the aggression coming through from the defense. It's not a question of if it is, it's where and when. And when is usually right as soon as the barriers go up.
When is normally now.
Yeah, well, they have a little bit of info in A main with the jump peaks, but again, it's just information, A and mid, with a fight that they're hoping to find on this B site where the operator has rotated into. Gate crash going out as well for that faster rotate and wrap back to the A site. At this point, I think they want information. They've been denied it for the most part, with the exception of a bit of noise in mid. This is where the B main push comes through, and Creamy is going to have to be on his A game if Lovers Rock does round that corner, and in fact he does just for the TP.
45 seconds is gone. I guess this is the other side of the coin. When you have expectations that your opponents are going to push you, and they don't, that clock starts to get dangerously low. Drone utilized, and the second it is, questions are there whether or not they're going to rotate. A little bit further away, a little bit slow, in fact, in the reaction from the side of BBL Pacific, but there's still LaRock on site, and sometimes LaRock is all you need.
He's stuck in the corner. Finally, he'll need his maker, but the spike needs to make it to site, needs to be planted, and it is being dropped instead. 8 seconds, time ticking. And a few picks will mean nothing if this spike is denied. Good shot by Loida, and he can finish it here and now. A round for LaRock and Loida, two big players on BBL Pacific. And they've given their squad a big lead, 4-0, starting out Sunset.
Yeah, they are the two players that if you talk about who will definitely be in Tier 1 in some capacity next year, they are the ones that everybody mentions, and there's a very good reason for that. Be it whatever agent they play. Sue mentioned it. LaRock has a nasty breach as well, but it doesn't seem to matter what you put him on. He's always putting up the numbers. And the devastating thing is, I think Dynasty did well in that round to almost sell the idea that this could be a fake. We could be going back in the other direction. 3 players were on the other side of the map. They struggled to deal with LaRock, as many have before them. Potential change of pace, though. The slow round didn't work. Try a slightly quicker one. And actually, now they've got the orb. Annihilation online. Interesting they didn't go for Hunter's Fury. Clearly have an idea.
Oh, it's going to be fired in right away. Sent towards short, no doubt. Tag's already found one onto LaRock. The weaker weapon's working out. They managed to seize one, and it will be an easy pickup on the Annihilation once he's set free. A 3 versus 5. His Stingers now holding those close angles, grouping up as well. This is looking like a terrifying return to form from Dynasty. And where's the way in for BBL Pacific? An ult for Lover's Rock will leave just 2 players behind. I mean, they need to find picks. And Dynasty are doing a great job of not offering anything up until these players are way too deep into the angle. Premia's back up, even if he goes down, and now Lover's Rock, they're going to want to take this man out. They know he's got that op. He has made it back. The question, no longer about winning, not even about damage. It's can he carry this op forward?
It seems like they're maybe a little bit hesitant as well. How many players can they really afford to lose? They've done it with a half buy, so it's a little bit more than you might expect, but for Lover's Rock, he's been able to hold onto the gun, and the rest are not going to push. It's the right decision. You don't want to give up any more of your weapons for a gun that ultimately BBL Pacific can afford to rebuy anyway. I love the call, though. That said, I think it's a bold choice to go for Annihilation, an ultimate that quite regularly misses instead of a Hunter's Fury. But the decision was like, okay, you're going to use that to disrupt. Like the second you hear that ult activate, everybody moves, and that's the moment where Tag is waiting, pressured in, and then they know where the second player is as well. Just a smart little play that was based around that ultimate to begin with that gives them their first round.
Yeah, and also Waddle firing through the drone, right? They found all the info, executed off of it. Now they come through, Hunter's Fury off rip, denying that control of short. That's where they look to pressure. LaRock gets one, even on low HP, but a sneaky position from Tag has pulled this back into Dynasty's hands. They've got the advantage, and I don't think Rose can really afford to go walkabouts on mid. He tried to cut the rotate, but there were 3 players there, and Lloyd has not got on much better.
Wonderful round from Tag. The space into middle, the one threat towards the end that was having Loiter on the TP. Well, this time I wouldn't be as surprised if we see them try to hunt down this operator. Bear in mind, last round, it's the first victory you've got. And more importantly, it was the first time that you could really build up some credits. Now though, 4 players alive and their economy on the brink, taking this operator away holds a lot more value, and you can already see they're going walkabouts.
And looking at these 2 rounds they've put on the board, it has been centered around using those big ultimates of Annihilation and Hunter's Fury to control the space BBL Pacific are occupying. And whilst that might not be easy to, repeat. Hold on, nice shot.
Say that. It will be easy to repeat one of them because Creamy's already got his
Annihilation. You've got that. Also, the economy now starting to run down low for BBL Pacific. And at this point, defensively, 2 rounds in a row lost, Annihilation back online on the other side. You do start to feel like we're going to see something different. Even if it's not coming out of a pause, I want to see BBL Pacific go back to that early aggression that's found them so much success. But again, difficult to do when you don't know where that Annihilation is coming through. So far, it's been A main, it's been pressure onto short. Maybe they look to adjust there, but look at where the numbers are for Dynasty right now. It seems like their sights are set on B.
Early battle for a bit of mid control. Maybe trying to deny some of that aggression, and Lover's Rock isn't going to be able to spot too much out. Bear in mind as well that Tag's been so vital on lurks that Viper's Pit may not necessarily come into play. Instead, though, Annihilation will be that first point of contact.
He got caught. Lover's Rock tried to use Gate Crash. He tried to get out of there, and instead he's being annihilated. That's a terrible start, and just as poor a finish. Again, 3 rounds based off using those ultimates for early entries, and no notes.
Yeah.
How could there be? A flawless round for Dynasty, 4-3 now.
And as said, I feel like I've watched a lot of people in VCT EMEA actually die more often to their own Annihilation than people actually find kills with it. So fair play to Creamy for just knowing exactly where he needs to put that in, but also he's always activating it a long time before he plans to use it. And I think that's such a small detail, but something that makes such a difference. Because the amount of people I see that activate and get shot in the face because they've already run onto the site. The other thing as well is they're only using a singular ult each time to win a round. So it's not like they're losing all of them at once like they had to on Lotus, for example. 3 in a row now. More direct fight, which is normally where you'd favor BBL Pacific, but weaponry a little bit low in the start. Not quite going the way they'd hope.
This Viper wall towards B main is so interesting. It's cutting off so much space for the defensive side, allowing contest deep into the corner. They can constantly deny any sort of control from BBL Pacific, any push-up in main around that orb, because once the wall goes down, you can have players on so many different angles towards the stairs. Now, when those players go swinging into main, I mean, that's just a dream, a gifted pick. One going back is now heard by LaRock right about now. They know the play is coming to A. That's the spike. This could be disastrous. The ult coming in from Lover's Rock. He'll be here pretty quickly, but if they catch the spike, they're letting him go by. They're letting him walk right into sight. That could have been the round done and dusted. Instead, they're going to have to play post-plant, retake into a pit.
I think the expectation was maybe there'll be more than one. Maybe there'll be somebody else. A bit of an attempted trigger discipline, but the fact is the Spike was the last guy. Rose doesn't have anything to play with. 2 easy picks. In fact, LaRock going down in the mix, and now Kreven. He's already tagged a little bit low, and the Viper's pit is left to a tiny gap, but Wado is well aware of where that gap could be. Loiter from above has done fantastically well, but anything more, well, it isn't to be had. And I love as Rock's been in a position so many times where it just feels like he has to try and save this. An opportunity was found in this round, but an opportunity that didn't deal any real damage.
Well, the weapon will be saved. He's done well to do that most of the time, but for Dynasty, the climb back, the resurgence, they were at 4-4 on the previous map, and they lost every round after that. A dominant display from BBL Pacific, and then they start out with what seemed to be the same, a 4-0 start. It looked like they were going to keep chaining rounds together like Dynasty were down and out. And yet again, we've seen them dig deep. The mental of this team perhaps needs to be studied, especially for, as we've said, you know, a couple of these players, they've been here before. They've been here a couple times, every time, in fact. But for Dynasty, I think we still look at them as one of those teams that, from that experience front, you expect them to be a little bit weaker than what's on the other side. Well, yes, it's youngsters on BBL Pacific, led by Rose, though, and with LaRock, Loida, and we've seen Lover's Rock around. I have less doubts about them, but Dynasty being able to keep themselves in it mentally is so admirable.
You have to bear in mind as well that this squad was sort of dismantled midway through the year. Yeah, like Koi picking up their coach, completely changing the dynamic, taking a player or two as well. It was a rebuild that seemed to just mesh wonderfully from the get-go, making it all the way to the final of Stage 3 EMEA Challengers, that is. But now, the match that matters most for both teams, and obviously coming into today, I think most people will have had BBL Pacific as the victor, a finalist last year, dominant across the year as well, other than, of course, in Challengers 3. The fact is, they've already tasted one map in defeat, which was more than many would have expected, and now they're being pressured once again.
Although sprays not quite landing, Lover's Rock doesn't have quite as many shots to fire back. And be careful about the re-aggression. Go into the angle. He knew there was an op there just moments ago. In B main's been taking a lot of risks, and with Waddle down to 30, it's a good start for the defense.
Walked into the bullets and clearly had an angle he wanted to use the drone from, but this has not been a continuation of the rounds we've just seen. An early pick, early damage. The only ult in play, one that a lot of the time you're going to see utilized when you don't have a rifle in hand. And while it's safe to say that their opponents know exactly where they are, the only person they don't know about is Tag. He's the one real piece of danger, but his teammates might not be standing by the time he actually goes to push. And, well, They now know exactly where he is.
Yeah, they waited as well. I think this was really smart usage of the camera from Kreven. He let them out onto site, heard two players step in there, waited a moment, and then popped his camera, seeing that there was only one player in main. And once they put those pieces together, you could see that even as the fight was going on site, Rose had turned to watch for that flank up through middle. He suspected Tag to be pretty much where he was.
10 seconds left.
So no element of surprise there. I think a lot of that credit should be given to Kreven for how patient he was, because he heard steps in main and didn't get over curious, didn't give away the fact that he had a cam there until the recon was going through.
I wonder if that was something that was pointed out by Key, because it's something to note on the last map as well. Like that back and forth in the early rounds, a lot of what it came down to was Tag finding space and being able to have a little bit of a backstab in multiple rounds. This map has started off very similar. Pause has been taken, and as you said, it seems like they're well aware of where he's going to be. It definitely does help when Larocque is earning style points sliding around the map. It seems like we might have is it a different type of pause? I feel like our production is blaming Rose because we've just full screened him playing around with his monitor.
It did look like he was at some cables. I think he was just looking for his hand warmer. But yeah, in a way, a small delay in the action. But for BBL Pacific, that's a bounce back after 4 rounds in a row, lost out to Dynasty. There is a little bit of a player issue causing the pause. For BBL Pacific, you know, they're bouncing back, but they've allowed Dynasty to win 4 in a row. They've allowed a lot of economy to be built up by that attacking side as well. There's not going to be an eco coming out of the attackers for a little while now. And combined with the fact that Hunter's Fury's back online, and that's where we've seen so much success for Dynasty, I think when we come out of this pause, we're looking at a much more direct approach. And I think, you know, you mentioned it on Abyss, that when it came to the push and pull for Dynasty, it didn't seem like they were finding as much value as these direct hits. And I think, there were rounds where it looked like they had the upper hand in terms of those mid-round calls. But when it comes to this map, it's night and day, really. When they've been playing direct, when they've been hitting, at barrier up almost. BBL Pacific's slow takes of middle, slow deep aggressions towards B main haven't really found them that value. Whereas when we've seen them go slow, I think a couple times, 2 times, so literally a couple times, in B main, we've seen Creamy just overextend that little bit, get caught out by, I think both were Lovers Rock, but a player on B side or in B main, and sort of going as a group has that value. I'd be surprised if they don't, especially with Hunter's Fury, just come out aggression off rip.
He's having a good time at least, definitely not feeling the pressure just yet. And as said, that was something Rose mentioned about Lovers Rock that is a different characteristic to what we've seen from Comeback, a very sort of like loud personality within the team that has definitely brought a different vibe, but still seemingly able to put up the numbers. 10 and 3 at the moment within the server has been fantastic throughout the entirety of the tournament thus far. Number 3 currently, or I guess before this match started in the ACS tally. And was up there in the KD as well, which that's always interesting for me. I think he's number 1 in KD, 1.41, which when you're a duelist like him, that's surprising. Super aggressive in the way he plays. A lot of the time we'll find him posted up with the operator in the early stages of the round, but it is almost fair to say that he is a safe pair of hands. He'll go for that early shot, but if he hits or if he misses, he's always repositioning, he's always maneuvering around. Larocque is a slightly less safe pair of hands, especially on the Neon. He doesn't want just one.
Well, it's time to get back into the game now. BBL Pacific, a 1-round lead, and they found it in the previous. Where Dynasty could bounce back, though. The Hunter's Fury deployed right off rip. They go aggressive towards the A side, caught by the trip. Kreven down to 18, will be chased down by the Hunter's Fury, but look at Lovers Rock. Look at where he is. This man has not got a gate crash, no fallback, no retreat. He has to take more than one, but only the single found. They extend for the op, and Lloyd is there waiting to greet them. The advantage for BBL Pacific, but how long can they hold on to it? Creamy is looking for this deep fight. He's got the spike, and the drone is hunting him down. The info to play with. The spam is good, and Larocque finds them from behind. 6 on the board for BBL Pacific. Neck and neck at the half, guaranteed, but still 2 to play for.
I feel like it may even sound like an insult at times, but I feel like Rose is excellent at causing distractions. Like, the drone there was almost purely just to go, okay, you know Loiter's here. You know I'm trying to reveal for Loiter. And then in the meantime, LaRock's just swinging them in the backline. Like, it just makes things so difficult when you understandably tunnel vision in on the two players, you know their position. And then the third one is the one that, as I said, wide swings and takes down two. A couple now. The 4-round streak of Dynasty has been broken and is guaranteed a level half. Look at Lovers Rock again. This time he does have an escape, and as said, safe pair of hands, 1 kill, and he's gone.
The man that's caused all those problems. The late rounds now removed. 2 players spotted towards the B site, and you can see why BBL Pacific have rotated so heavily. 4 on site alongside site for Util, but with this TP coming through from the shadows, the spike will emerge on a Loida. He was being chased down. Famsy's right behind him, but he's missed the stun. Ticey didn't miss the shot, though. The advantage no longer in play for BBL Pacific, in a retake. No, it's forced upon them. There's no choice.
Yeah. They knew how important taking out Loiter was going to be. Couldn't leave that guy in the backlines and have managed to clear him. Paranoia is good. Also caught one with a grab net. Means they couldn't move, but Lovers Rock is just landing every shot. Creamy knows he needs to try and clear Rose from this angle, and he's done just that. Leaves it possible, but Lovers Rock has just found everyone in the meantime. Creven is there to close it out. But it's the duelist once again. I said his KD is ridiculous when it's only increasing.
Yeah, that is a sensational round from Lovers Rock. His first acceptable, but the rest, he shouldn't even have gotten out of there after his second kill. Looked like he was top fragging in the death matches. Dynasty, the opportunity they had there to put this equal now fades away. They've got to compete for a 2-round deficit. And looking at Lovers Rock, 15-4. 4 assists in there as well. Not bad.
As said, he's the guy most of the time taking those first battles, but he's not trying to stick around and be the hero and do the flashiest thing in the world. He's just trying to make sure that he gives his team an advantage and then keeps it. An intelligent duelist. Here we go again. The attempted set play. Early usage. But it's Famzy the one to fall. Rose holding onto the cross and just information being handed over, but Ticey's done well, needs a little bit more. Creven instead has stepped up. But we end up back in a 2v2.
Creven could be on for the ace. He's already got 3. That snake bite, though, forced him off the angle. Luckily, Loiter was there. His teammate calls, "I can't fight with you." And he's like, "No problem, I don't need backup." Takes them all down and puts 8-4 on the board. Again, we saw this. Dynasty managed to find it to 4-4, and then BBL Pacific run away with it. Let's hope it's a different story in half number 2 after the break. Eight to 4 in favor of BBL Pacific as we move to half number 2. Lovers Rock is 15-5. I think 5-0 in opening duels as well. And now they're on the attack side. If they can't shut him down and stop a resurgence from LaRock, who, by the way, he's only 12-7. It's not like he's doing bad, but being a little bit outshone Oh, your Yoru on the other side. This could be a quick conclusion to the map. For Dynasty, the pistol will help them right the wrongs of the first half. This is their map pick. We saw them bounce back on Lotus. It's time to do it again.
Wow. As you just saw from the lower third, this is a very fast-paced attack side team. You've seen the early dart sent out by Waddle. They want the information as soon as possible. And don't get me wrong, they have the information. Already, Dicey being challenged, but the spike in the meantime has gone back the other way. There's a very aggressive setup in towards B main, though. It seems like although that early contact was there, they are not too wary about that A site.
Oh, they've definitely read this. On Dynasty's side, having a wall up, having a player deep as well. Famzy falls back into this corner where they've got that same Viper wall that we saw him play on the attack side, the very same wall here on the defense, but they haven't gone pushing into it. BBL Pacific being patient, leaving Kreven to find space on market, but the spike will go back, yet still, they made noise on A, no one rotated. They made noise on B, no one rotated. There's still 2 players here.
Yeah, in the corner for Waddle. Shot dart to try and do some trip damage, and already managing to just hold on to the line. Has Dicey, but Rose has done well. He only managed 1 kill in the first half, but he's already managed 2 in this one. His teammate and Lovers Rock low, so a lot of the heavy lifting will be down to him, and in fact, he doesn't even have anybody to support him right now. He is alone.
Has to survive and buy time. He's already gotten Lovers Rock into a position. Diffuse not underway as well, buying more time as the reveal goes up. One spotted, and Lovers Rock is quick to drop it. Rose with another, and they've done it! BBL Pacific take the pistol round here. It looked like a lifeline for Dynasty, but the lead extends. The win streak continues, and BBL Pacific, led by Rose in this clutch, and found themselves a 9-4 scoreline.
Well, that's always the thing. You feel like sometimes this guy will get some flack for not putting up the numbers. He was 1-8 in the first half, but 3 high-impact kills. Bear in mind, we've seen 2 8-4 halves already in the first 2 maps. The second pistol, when won by Dynasty, they were able to turn it around. The second pistol, when won by BBL Pacific, they were not.
Talking about that wall and how you can get into unusual angles with it, but it hasn't worked out very well. Got them the opening onto Rose, but if anything, it's as good as it can get for him. He got a pick, he died, and that's given him the orbs for a round 3 Hunter's Fury. Now,
yeah,
you know, we see that sometimes, these early ults online, but I'll say that Rose might be the 10th player you bet on having it.
Maybe Famzy in this map. He's been having a bit of a howler. 3 and 12. It can be difficult with that attack side Neon when it's not working, but they're going to need him on this defense if there is a response. And it's now scary because he can just play passive. The util setup, Hunter's Fury could be thrown in just as a attempt to try and pad the gap. Famzy back on the board though. An important first kill. Well, this is just 1-by-1. An opportunity to just clean things up for Dicey. A confidence building round to say the least. They will slaughter BBL Pacific, who, I'll dare say it, they tried to disrespect them there.
They did. They did. I mean, there comes a point, you've just won 6 rounds in a row. You took the pistol. You took the pistol in extraordinary fashion. You start to feel like maybe we're just better. And Dicey steps up to remind you that's not the case. Famzy with a double as well, almost doubling his kills. It's exactly as you say. This is a confidence builder for Dynasty, and maybe the turning point if they can manage to find this. Economy relatively low for the attacking side. Big investment, but that Hunter's Fury feels like it's looming over this defensive side.
Yeah, now that the full rifles are in, they didn't want to commit it in the last round, which maybe a little bit surprised by, but when you have such a lead, you can take gambles in some of the decision making. Dicey will at least have early rotations available to him, but with a lot of that deadlock utility already being broken apart, a lot of that delay is gone. And the fact is, BBL Pacific are happy to do that and then just fall back into more of a default round. They just want to make sure there aren't portions of the map just locked off to them.
Reality is it did cost a lot as well, though. You've got no Yoru flashed around this corner towards A. It being burned up to clear all those angles behind the Viper wall. No decoy either. Oh, LaRock is in a bit of trouble. Oh, no, he's not. He is the trouble. The shot onto Creamy as Famzy falls. It's Dynasty crumbling across the map, and look at the spot that you've now got LaRock sat in.
Here.
Yeah, wrap up late. Find so much value. The problem is that there's no... Oh, he's TP'd, doesn't he? He thought he was TPing past a trip. There was no trip there. He sold himself down the river Styx, and LaRock, 2 HP, will finally be dealt with. I thought they were saving at this point.
Yeah, they've got
Tack's
to
going
be.
forward, though. I don't think it's worth risking the rifle for Dynasty.
If one of them saves,
credits.
it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Like, they'll still have the credits to actually buy into the next, but unless he's going to try something very cheeky here, which I think might be, and it is being watched for. An attempt to try and defuse this under there. No,
Okay.
actually got rid of the Hunter's Fury. Still managing to get it fairly close. You think that Loiter has this one covered. It's a little bit of extra expense, an ultimate gone, but and even an extra gun, especially considering they can buy it. It's not too bad.
No, that's really good from Tag. When I saw him going for it, I'm thinking it's a little much, you know? You're probably going to get a kill and get traded, but he waits long enough, uses the snake bite to make it almost impossible to swing deep. You know, because think about it from the perspective of Loida. You swing wide in a snake bite, he's not defusing, he's baiting you, he kills you. No one else is really close by enough, so they just put through the Hunter's Fury then and there. Try to commit it, maybe save an extra weapon out of the scenario, but getting rid of that, invaluable for Dynasty. The reality is, though, that's like doing your homework, but the test is coming up. As BBL Pacific push up to 11 rounds, the margin for error razor thin. Dynasty have called their first pause of Sunset pretty much at the final hour.
It seems like rapid fire commands coming out of Boromas. I feel like this might be more of an inspirational speech rather than a tactics talk. It's only been a couple of rounds gone by on this second half, but we've seen it before. The thing that was able to turn things back for Dynasty was the fire being lit beneath them. Maybe a little bit of that Italian flair thrown in. I'll have to see. They're going to be able to pull this one back. Bear in mind the last map, they didn't know what they were coming up against, and it was also their opponent's choice. But with this being their choice of Sunset, Corrode coming up next. Definitely feels like after map 1, it's been a bit of a turn in the fates of these two teams.
Definitely has looked, even from that 4-4
He getting
scoreline,
both orbs. I think he is.
the same as over on Abyss, 4-4, and the game changes completely. BBL Pacific getting wind in their sails, and they are off to a flying start, but there could be much more to this map. Lover's Rock, as you said, both orbs acquired. Ult is there for the entry. When you've got Famzy gambling on this tight corner and elbow, if this ult is popped, the op is just going to be completely nullified.
Yeah, he's also been struggling as well.
Famzy's got a chance here. They didn't see him.
Yeah, he's been missed. Good opportunity. That's at least one, and now Lover's Rock is trying to almost delay. One's been caught by Kreven. Famzy does go down, but the trades are coming back and forth. Actually getting stunned up. Kreven didn't realize that there was still utility left on that site that he had to deal with.
30 seconds left.
It's just starting to look a little bit messy from BBL Pacific, and well, Loiter's about to try and walk through a smoke with multiple people there. I don't know if he's even seen either of them with that TP.
I don't think he has. Another smoke to be used from both sides.
It's
Ticey
close.
almost goes down. He's checking the right corner. Lloyd has found one, but Waddle not expected to be here. Lover's Rock's now got the info on both of them. It's the shorty firing through, but the pre-fire costs him that extra shot that he needed. A 6th on the board. You know, it looks like Dynasty are not going to let this slip just yet. And in fact, you know, even that round win is enough because they've gone back and forth of the last 3, it's enough to put BBL Pacific onto a very weak buy. This is a chance to really build up that momentum for the defense.
Definitely feeling a little bit messy. A few corners left unchecked and opportunities given. Ult as well for Waddle going into this next one. He's starting to come back into the game a bit. But I do like the investment here from BBL Pacific. When you have players like Lovers Rock and LaRock, you send over those couple of guns and see what they can do with them. And I'm never going to doubt Loiter with a Sheriff either.
The trap and the drone dealt with early. They're baiting in that fight. It looks like Tycee close to going for the swing. He will go in for it, and he'll lose most of his health bar as a result. Not a bad start, especially when you've got these Sheriffs. You've got a classic on Kreven. I mean, anybody can take Tycee down now in a heads-up fight.
Just clever read, knowing that the second he took that first fight, there was going to be contact on the other side. The double duelist also roaming together, but everything they're doing is almost just to try and bait out fights, bait out aggression on the other side of the map. And well, I think Vamsy has a decent idea where his opponents might be. 3 players all spamming, waiting, and he was on the other side. A nice triple for him, but it might be necessary. The 2 remaining players still managing to do damage, and he knows they're going to be coming for him.
It's a quick slide, but Famsy's quicker. 4, and he's denied the ace. Lovers Rock left with 15 seconds, though. You know, it might not be the ace accolade, but the round will do for Dynasty. This one may be a little bit closer than it should have been, but 11-7, the gap continues to close.
Yeah, those are the sort of rounds you want to see from Famsy as well. Sure, there were weaknesses, sure, there were pieces missing for the opponent, but one of the things that has been missing so far this game has been him. Like, he's been in positions, but just hasn't been able to land those shots. We've seen him cleared from close angles with these wide swings, and unlike when we're on the online stage, you can't put that down to Turkish ping. We are now in a spot where if he can come back into this game, you'll convince me it's possible. They're still 4 rounds behind. And well, even with those couple in a row, that's enough for BBL Pacific to put a pause to this. They're coming in with a buy. They're also coming in with a few ultimates, but other than maybe the overdrive, they're not ones that normally massively turn around, unlike the Hunter's Fury and potentially the Annihilation for Creamy as well.
4-round gap really isn't that much, but BBL Pacific, it could be enough. 2 more to connect, and they'll close this out. A timeout, their last timeout, coming to an end. This attacking side, plenty to work with in terms of the next round, although with an Omen and a Cypher ult, I think that economy, in terms of the ult economy, leaning a little bit more favorably to the defensive side, especially with how much impact they've been able to find off the back of a Hunter's Fury or an Annihilation that's just one away. That was more on the attack side, where they could group, they could hit these sites quite quickly. Won't be the same this time around. See how they try to find value. It seems like early on, Creamy is walking up. I assume this is just to take the initial contact and throw the wall through. Grabbing the orb for the Annihilation. That's huge value found.
Yeah, we've seen him be able to do quite a bit with that ultimate, especially on the attack side. So maybe with how good this team can be in retakes, that might become a piece of the puzzle. A much slower round, though, coming out from BBL Pacific. We've seen them put the pressure on early in a lot of these rounds and try and almost bait the rotations, but for now at least, maybe just waiting out some of that utility. They were caught last time spamming this wall and gave their positions away. In the meantime, LaRock is acting as a massive distraction, but they're still going to have to give it away with the wall, and because of that, Hunter's Fury immediately through.
Paranoia, although it's going to stop a big swing from Creamy, it's not going to allow Loiter to fly under the radar. That was heard and called by the players further back, and BBL Pacific, will they find themselves crashing against the shore? But nothing really to show from it. Dynasty still standing strong in the defense. A single position eroded, and from this point, where do you go? 12 seconds, time to save the weapons, carry them through to the next, and allow Dynasty to continue pumping coal into that fire. They are picking up steam, and after using both timeouts, BBL Pacific have got to start to worry pretty soon.
Yeah, this is
We know more than we did before. Let's
definitely looking like a much more doable scenario than where we were at a few moments ago. Think about it, it was what, 10-4 scoreline, and I'm almost looking out of it. I think as well, something for BBL Pacific, they now need to really focus on breaking that wall early. The fact is, they've lost 2 rounds in a row because we've seen contact plays come off the back of it from Dynasty. They're using that deadlock utility fantastically well. It seems like this time they've almost opted to try and get ahead of it, play aggressively in front of it, but it doesn't seem to have worked.
Well, it's exactly what Glance said on the desk, right? That you can see this deadlock on defense being so oppressive, has so much stopping power, and that's exactly what we've gotten to see without the Annihilation even being used in the previous, even though Creamy was put under pressure. Had the teammates to back him up. With a minute on the clock, they're searching for picks in mid, and it's Dynasty that end up finding them. Good trade from Lover's Rock, but they're still on a man disadvantage, his rifle being the only one that they have to work with. Good flash gives him a chance, but he caught himself with it. So Tycee's given a free kill, following up with the classic to make this look like an embarrassment for BBL Pacific. They had lots of weaknesses in this round, and I think it showed.
Yeah, but more importantly, every round that goes by, you can see that the players on the Dynasty side are getting more and more confident. Icy seems to be almost giving an inspirational speech after every single one. Or maybe an inspirational scream. But the fact is, that's 4 in a row. That's the most. We've seen them streak together. It was the same in the last, and then the deadlock was immediately broken by the side of BBL. But here we go. Tycee, immediate aggression. Is he going to get out of there alive? No spam through, and Lover's Rock has caught the aggression elsewhere.
I know exactly where you are.
Understandable, you see that aggro come in on mid, your player's forced back, you want to search for at least info elsewhere. Rose, I'm not sure what's going on there.
They knew he was there.
He goes deep into the B site, gets taken down by an op. There's nothing to show for it. The spike's still down outside A as the ult comes in from Lover's Rock. And the spawn side of B, this is pure madness. And for Dynasty,
the spike is.
You'd be fools to assume that this is anything but a B play. Late lurk, I guess, from Kreven. He's miles away from the action. I thought the spike was going there, but it is coming back to the B site. Yeah. Lover's Rock,
saw the rifle.
He wants a pick. If they find it, they can settle into a post plant. It's a battle of attrition for these ops, each waiting for the other to make a mistake. Eventually, market will be conceded.
Well, with the smoke gone, can't take that risk anymore. Annihilation going through, and he hasn't been able to do anything to deny it. The Rock on the corner, knows that Loiter has his back, just waiting anybody to try and swing through the smoke, but they need to buy time. Kreven's flank could ruin the day, but just too quick on the other side. Already onto the defusal is Tag. Not going to be revealed, and the spam isn't going to be enough. It's just being diffused in front of them. Dynasty on the retake once again, doing work. They will have their 10th round, and this climb-back is looking more and more doable as the seconds go by.
I mean, we brought it up, and I almost felt like it was a fool's errand. Like, you can't expect teams to bounce back this many times, but
from 10-4 down
again.
As well.
10-4 down, they had 6 rounds in a row lost. Remember, then you had this 10-4, 10-5, 11-5. It looked like, oh, BBL Pacific right back to winning ways, and we'll close this map out soon. And yet, Dynasty, they've kept themselves in it mentally. That is not easy to do with the stakes that they're playing against here. And an opening pick in this round. It's weak weapons for BBL Pacific, but still they tried to use the numbers to punch through this A defense. And we talk a lot about the deadlock utility and how oppressive it is, the stopping power. Well, this was just a shot through the wall. They've yet to even make it near the util.
Yeah, still got that barrier mesh available. They want to try and isolate a portion of the map. The cross is also being held. It's a little bit messy, but not so much for Creamy. He definitely had some blips when it came to that first half, but he is back and swinging. 11-11, 4 kills, and I remember in the last round he used that Annihilation. I believe he is 1 away from having it again.
Yeah, I feel like my memory's been erased. Like I've missed a couple of rounds.
Yeah.
This guy, that's the second time now that you think, oh, well, he used his ult not long ago, as in the last round. Should be online for a while. He's going to have it in the next. This is 11-11. Dynasty, they're mounting a comeback so consistently. They did this in map 1. And BBL Pacific, who no doubt felt like at 11-5, this was their game. Well, it was their game to lose, apparently.
He got caught.
Net early on, slept LeRock in the open, but he turns into a turret. Dishing out death and finding a double. Famsi comes through, but Kraven does the same. And with tag falling, BBL Pacific will deny victory in regulation. One chance for a 13-11 to win a map that seemed to be theirs. And yet it's up for contention.
It's one of those moments where you look at that and go, you thought that you caught LeRock in a trap, but it turns out that's exactly where he wanted to be. He had no plans of moving. He dove in and went, yeah, okay, I will sit here and I will hit the shot quicker than you can get me, even if you know where I am. And while a bump in the road, or potentially a complete derailment, LeRock goes hunting. Early ult thrown out, but he's going to get caught anyway. But he was just the bait. Look at the other players. They've gone wrapping round through the top of mid. Kraven might just be able to catch Creamy as he looks to back away. There's still a player on the cross in the form of Ticey. And in the meantime, the spike's going back. You can see for Tag, a little bit of panic here. He's got to try and fight towards the spawn and be wary of elsewhere.
He's surrounded, and what's worse is they know that Ticey was rapping through the spawn. They heard those steps. Tag's dealt with, but Ticey, he gets the jump on them with a transfer of dreams. Ticey, maybe the beating heart of this defensive side. He has shown up damn near every time they've needed him in that play. It might have kept them in the map. In fact, it looks like it has. He's on the spike. Lover's Rock close by and finds himself 1, 2 more to deal with. The shorty reloaded. He finds the first, makes it out. A 1v1 and all picked up his HP so low he might need to hit this shot. He's in the open, but buying so much time. Famsi needs to get on this spike. He needs to start the defuse, and the swing will be caught. Has he got time?
I don't think he does.
It's so close, I think it's gone. Oh, 0.09! And their dreams slipping through their grasp, through their fingertips. Dynasty, what a comeback.